Bloodhound Lil Jeff's Percocet sniffing homie, Q50, was unsurprisingly arrested on drug and gun charges, with no bail. The first question the police asked was, "Damn, 50, are you really up 8 hats?" After Q50 either admitted that there's a lot of cap in his raps, or snitched on himself to the murder of 8 people, they definitely asked him all about the war between the Bloodhounds from Drill City and other beaties from Trap City, including whether he knew a man by the name of Cordero Thompson. Cordero is a member of Trap City who murdered an off-duty sheriff's deputy at a gas station during a botched robbery. The final question the police asked was whether Bloodhound Q50 was involved in the brazen, broad daylight murder of 2 high school students / BKN gang members, Monty and Lil Rob, in the middle of downtown Chicago during lunch hour in January of this year. After that, the Chicago police left, and federal agents asked Q50 from Drill City on the south side of Chicago about his connections to black disciples, drug dealers, and rappers in Milwaukee, and asked him if he has any useful information that may help him get out of the jam that he currently finds himself in.
Just before 1:30 a.m. on July 30th, 2024, an off-duty Cook County Sheriff's Deputy, Raphael Wardlaw, and his friend were in 2 separate cars. They were on their way home after kicking it all night and had stopped for gas at the Clark station at the corner of 67th Street and Eberhard Avenue. While Wardlaw's friend was pumping gas, a gunman allegedly came up to Wardlaw's car, holding 2 guns and said, "Give me everything." Deputy Wardlaw was able to open the door to his car and shoot 32-year-old convicted felon, Cordero Thompson, in the leg once, before Thompson fired over 60 shots. One of the guns that the convicted felon was holding allowed him to fire 30 rounds in 2 seconds because it had a switch. Police said Thompson took off running from the scene after the shootout. Deputy Wardlaw was shot in the chest and drove wounded for a half-mile before his car hit a pole. He later died at the University of Chicago Medical Center. Wardlaw's friend was grazed by a bullet during the shootout. Thompson later showed up at Inside Hospital and Medical Center to be treated for his gunshot wound and provided false information about his identity to officers who arrived at the hospital, according to police. He then left Insight and took a ride to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where he continued to provide false information about his identity. Surveillance video helped police identify Thompson as the man who shot Deputy Wardlaw, and he was arrested about 3 hours after the shootout at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Gunshot residue and DNA evidence also linked him to the shooting. Thompson had most recently been released from jail in January of this year after being held for unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. Police were still looking for the driver of a green, older model Chevrolet Tahoe with unique rims on the driver's side, which they said was used as a possible getaway car. Police said that the suspect driving the car should be considered armed and dangerous. Deputy Raphael Wardlaw was a role model for young black men. He was policing the community that he lived in. That's what we want, right? It's much more likely for underprivileged kids in Chicago to become a policeman, nurse, or teacher to improve their life circumstances than it is to become a rapper or an athlete. Deputy Raphael Wardlaw died just shy of his 32nd birthday. Sadly, the public in general, and drill music fans specifically, will quickly forget about the life of someone like Deputy Raphael Wardlaw while glorifying the life of someone like Bloodhound Lil Jeff.
Bloodhound Q50 was charged with having a gun with a switch, laser beam, and silencer on it, and drug charges. He hasn't been charged with murder yet, but you can't rap about having bodies from state to state, and in better known as Milwaukee, you'll kill for the pape if you really did that shit. Milwaukee rappers featured Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds in their music videos and posted tributes to Lil Jeff on social media after his death. What in the world could possibly cause a rational human being To brag about committing murders across state lines and rap music, like they don't know the feds are listening. All of these crazy, new drugs, that these crazy, new niggas, is doing, is driving them crazy. The federal investigation into the Bloodhounds, and Trap City, probably started with that crazy DJU interview, where Q50, and Lil Jeff, sniffed lines of Percocets for the world to see, and bragged about killing Monty, and Lil Rob, because, Monty, finessed Lil Jeff out of 2 of his watches. Shout out to DJU, for exposing the unfortunate truth about the Bloodhounds and drill culture. I heard Whitney Houston say, crack is whack, but I never saw her do a line of coke during an interview. NWA didn't brag about murders that they actually committed. Nobody expects Al Pacino to act like Tony Montana from Scarface, or Robert De Niro to act like Don Corleone from The Godfather. Outside of drill culture, the world does not idolize pseudo-celebrity gangbangers, sniffing hardcore drugs, and killing people. Just ask the sloppy 6 from O Block. The feds don't like shootings in the middle of downtown, or in the lucrative Gold Coast area in Chicago. I'm sure FBI agents' dicks got hard when they saw OTF Black implicate his dead homie, Do, or Dat from Trap City, in the murder of Tuka. The feds would love to close the case, and pin Tuka's body on a dead man, whether he did it, or not. There is no doubt that federal agents will give OTF Black, and all of his homies from Trap City, the clout that they are so desperately chasing. Bloodhound Q50, and Cord Arrow Thompson from Trap City, are just the tip of the iceberg, in the next big RICO case hitting Chicago gangs. Most people are familiar with the infamous RICO trials involving gangs like the Hobos, Goonie Boss Gang, and O Block. But a lot of other lesser-known gangs, who are just as deadly, have been hit with RICO charges too, like Face World and Rack City. Please, smash that like button and subscribe to the Cartoon News Network for some entertainment, to keep up with the latest news from the Chicago drill scene, or to watch one of our series documenting gang culture, to better understand the complex social conditions, alliances, and rivalries behind the music.